he's jumping 20-25% as a player every month.
There's a lot of really exciting young players. I know, like, I was thinking about the other day, I'm like, God, what's going to happen when LeBron eventually retires?
Well, guys are so much like quarterbacks. They're so much better early.
Yeah.
Luka is a top 5 player. He's 20. Zion's 20. I mean, guys, even Michael Jordan comes in. He's 22. He can score, but these guys all these athletes in the world now, at 19, 20 years old. They're
just so much more access to information at a younger age
and
now.
Nutrition and better training. These young NBA guys, Luka and Zion, are I mean, listen, neither plays a lick of defense, but LeBron wasn't a great defender.
I'm not worried about them defending.
Yeah.
Like, they're still young. They're still growing into their bodies, really.
Can't sell merch on defense. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying a jersey on defense.
Not anymore. I used to like that Michael Jordan was a good defender.
Yeah, my Ben Wallace jersey I lost. Greg Jennings now joining us, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. 10 years in the NFL, 7 with the Packers. So I think you're a nice guy. You dress like a professional. You're a nice guy. But I think Brady was a nice guy forever. Russell Wilson was go Hawks forever. Andrew Luck was too nice. And at some point, I thought it was okay because I want to be a nice guy. But Brady at one point's like, okay, I'm going to do a documentary, and I'm going to call some of your crap out. And Russell Wilson 2 days ago went to his agent and said, okay, we keep saying go Hawks at the end of interview. We're not doing that anymore. So as a former athlete who was a nice guy, does part of you love the fact that stars are pushing back and going public?
100%. You have to. When you are in the position that these guys are in, and in this 21st century with social media having so much influence and you having so much leverage, you mentioned it earlier, because of your platforms, because of your own brand, you got to use it. You got to capitalize on it. And specifically at the quarterback position, because they're the ones that are going to be the catalyst when it comes to football, of guys and players being able to speak up and speak out and make these requests and then demands of what they really want.
So 4 teams that Russ mentioned, Dallas, Chicago, Saints, and Raiders. Was there one initially that you thought, oh, I'd like to see that? That'd be interesting.
For me, it's always been about the Chicago Bears. I know people are going to be like, what, why? It doesn't make sense. But the Chicago Bears, with that defense, and with them already having quarterback issues, Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, the general manager, they're not trying to tie their hitch to Mitchell Trubisky or Nick Foles. And so you know that that's a situation where he can go in and he can impact it right away. Now, obviously, you would have to continue to try to grab hold of what's going on with Allen Robinson and get him back in the fold and some other pieces. But that offensive line, people look at that Chicago Bears offensive line and say, well, they gave up a lot of sacks, but they had a lot of revolving doors. They were switching a lot of position, moving around a lot, played a lot of musical chairs. But when they're all healthy and they're all set at their rightful positions, that's a pretty solid offensive line that can support what Russell Wilson's asks has been for the Seattle Seahawks.
So I saw a story that Brady is going to take another pay cut. And I think to myself, and I've thought about this before, like with LeBron James. LeBron makes about $60 million a year in apparel and shoes. His net worth is $950 million. He'll be a billionaire soon. And I've thought to myself, I mean, LeBron's totally committed. But the difference between him and Brady is Brady's like, listen, I'm going to take half of what I could take. It's a total commitment. Now, I know everybody says Gisele's rich. Yes, and LeBron makes $65 million a year on shoes. And I look at Brady, was there ever a moment where you considered taking less, or you thought taking less for a pro athlete made sense?
No, not for me, not in my position. Just seriously, because I've been in a position where I was a second-round draft pick, came into Green Bay, and had to earn it. And so once I started to earn it, everyone around me was getting paid, and I had to make sure that I was going to get my value and get my worth. And so when Green Bay, the year I ended up getting signed with the Minnesota Vikings, that was a business decision, not just financially, but even for my family and being in a better situation for my wife and her business to thrive and all of those things. So you equate all of these different variables when you're making that type of a decision. But when you've been in the league for 20 years and you've made the amount of money that Tom Brady has made off the field, and you are the celebrity, not just a football star, he's a celebrity. When you get to that status, you're going to make up off of the football field. And I heard Joy talk about this. Guys make so much money off the field, specifically at that position, when you take advantage of it, which is why I truly believe Dak wants to remain in Dallas, because he understands the prestige that comes with the star. But yeah, they can afford to do that. Not every player is willing to do that, especially when you haven't made top dollar before, or you haven't been in the elites of the elite class where you are going to be offered and garnered after and sought after, for so many other organizations.
By the way, I felt until yesterday Dak had leverage. Jerry's 78, Jerry Jones. He doesn't want quarterback chaos. They've got the 10th pick, but the good quarterbacks would probably be gone, or they'd have to use some draft capital to get up. I thought Dak had leverage. And then Russell Wilson comes out and say, I want to play for Dallas. He got no leverage because he's cheaper, actually, than what Dak wants. And part of me feels bad, and part of me thinks, Dak, they offered you a 5-year deal. This morning, I look at Dak and I think, man, you talk about losing leverage over a tweet. That's what it felt like for me. What did it feel like for you?
Now, he definitely lost leverage. There's no doubt, no question he lost leverage. However, it is not as easy as people think it is to just – Seattle Seahawks are in this for making the right decision for them. Now, they want to first and foremost keep Russell Wilson. That doesn't appear to be the case for Russell Wilson, because you put out these teams that you would like to or you would be willing to go to. That's being smart. That's using your savvy, your veteran savvy to say, you know what, I know these teams are going to start calling and inquiring, so they'll apply the pressure that I don't have to apply. And so when you look at Dallas, yes, Dak is a higher marked player, but you're going to have to give up more than just that. Seattle is not just going to say, hey, we'll take Dak if you give us Russell Wilson, or we'll give you Russell Wilson and you have less to pay Russell. No, it's not going to be that simple. They're going to ask for a ton in return, because they know that they are getting the value the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, also, remember, Seattle gave up so many first-round picks, 2 first-rounders for Jamal Adams. So Seattle would like to get first-rounders back. Yeah, so
exactly.
Yeah, so that Seattle's listening like we gave up a ton for Jamal Adams, whether he's worth it or not. They're going to ask for minimum 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. We kind of know that. So Greg Jennings, Fox Sports analyst, have a great weekend, bud. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it.
Now, a lot of people aren't taking the Raiders seriously, but remember, the advantage the Carolina Panthers have going for Deshaun Watson, the biggest advantage is David Tepper's the new owner, and he's hyper-aggressive. So David Tepper's the kind of guy, he'll go down and just say, we'll just make it work. I'll make the deal. That's an advantage. That's the disadvantage the Green Bay Packers have. They don't have an owner, right? So the advantage the Raiders have with Russell Wilson, John Gruden controls the franchise. If Gruden wants Russell Wilson, he can give up whatever he wants to give up. Keep your eye on the Raiders. An interesting scenario for John Gruden coming up next. Well, Jersey Mike's, there's a Jersey Mike's right next to the house I used to own and right next to the house I just bought. And Joy, Wednesdays they feed us here. I get the number 7, turkey provolone. We love Jersey Mike's.
Love Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, what's not to love? Convenient, clean, contactless pickup stations for app and online orders. The authentic bread's the key. It's always baked fresh in the store. The ingredients, highest quality meats piled high, sliced fresh, never pre-sliced or packaged. Jersey Mike's subs made authentically. The fresh produce is cut, cared for every morning. Taste the freshness, tomatoes, sweet onions, head of lettuce. And with Jersey Mike's, you can't forget the juice. Love the juice. Red wine, vinegar, and olive oil blended to absolute perfection. Just order a Jersey Mike's sub today. Jersey Mike's through their app for no contact delivery or no contact at the door pickup. Jersey Mike's subs. Be a sub above.